If there's one thing Formula One is known for, it's the crashes and the rivalries, the drama, the tension between teammates, the wheel-to-wheel fights at 200 miles per hour. This is basically the Olympics of motor racing. Nothing else really comes close. Some people tune in to watch their favorite team. Others care more about the drivers. Either way, millions are watching every race weekend. For most fans, it's entertainment. You're on your couch. Or maybe you're in the grandstands a few feet from the track, feeling the cars shake the ground. But for the teams, this is a business. A very expensive one. So the real question is simple. How do Formula One teams actually make money? Because this sport burns through cash. Formula One as a whole is a multi-million-dollar enterprise. Honestly, the money spent on just the cars could buy you a mansion in Beverly Hills. And that's before you factor in drivers, engineers, travel, factories, marketing, and research. When you stack it all up, you start wondering, is this even profitable? Right now, there are 10 teams on the grid. At the top, you've got Red Bull, Mercedes, Ferrari, and McLaren. These are the consistent frontrunners. They fight for constructors' championships. They fight for drivers' titles. They expect podiums. Then you've got the middle group, Aston Martin, Alpine, and Williams. On a good weekend, they can grab a podium. On a great weekend, maybe even more. But it's not consistent. And at the back, Arb, Haas, and Sauber. These teams are usually fighting just to score points. A podium for them would be a massive story. Altogether, 10 teams. If a new team wants to join, they can't just show up with a car. They have to pay what's called an anti-dilution fee. It's about $200 million. That money gets split between the existing teams. The logic is simple. More teams mean the prize money gets divided into smaller pieces. So, the current teams get compensated up front. Before we even talk about how the teams make money, you need to understand how Formula One itself makes money. F1 is owned by Liberty Media. As a business, the F1 group pulls in around $4 billion in revenue. There are 4 main streams. The biggest one is broadcasting, about 33% of total revenue, roughly $1.2 billion. TV networks and streaming platforms worldwide pay for the rights to air the races. That's the backbone of the business. Then you've got race hosting fees. Every Grand Prix is hosted by a city or country. Think Monaco, Abu Dhabi, Las Vegas. These locations pay to host a race. Why? Because it brings tourism, global exposure, and business traffic. It's an economic play. Countries bid for these races. Once they secure a contract, usually for multiple years, they pay an annual hosting fee. That fee can range from $20 million to $60 million, and it usually increases over time. Hosting fees make up about 29% of F1's revenue. F1 is one of the most watched annual sports globally. Billions watch on screens. Live attendance across a season reaches into the millions. For brands, that's priceless exposure. So global sponsorship is another major revenue stream. Around 20% of F1 Group revenue comes from sponsorship deals. Brands like Rolex, Aramco, and Louis Vuitton partner directly with F1. The visibility is enormous. On top of that, there are ticket sales when F1 promotes events directly, hospitality packages, merchandise licensing, and F1's own streaming service, F1 TV. All of that adds to the total. But here's the key part. The F1 Group doesn't keep everything. At least 38% of F1's revenue gets distributed to the 10 teams as prize money. That distribution is governed by the Concord Agreement. It's the contract between F1, the teams, and the FIA. The FIA, the Federation Internationale de l'Automobile, is the governing body of the sport. They set the regulations, they oversee competition rules, and alongside F1 and the teams, they agree on how revenue gets shared. The payouts depend on 2 main things: performance at the end of the season, and how long the team has been in Formula One. That's why Ferrari, Red Bull, and Mercedes can receive between $140 million and $180 million in payouts. Meanwhile, teams like Haas and Sauber might receive between $60 million and $80 million. On paper, $60 to $80 million sounds massive, but then you look at what it costs just to show up. Start with the car. The entire goal is to build the fastest car possible within FIA regulations. Teams spend heavily on aerodynamics. Tiny gains matter. A few tenths of a second per lap can mean championship points. Then there's personnel. This is one of the biggest cost buckets. Some top teams have over 1,000 employees. Engineers, mechanics, strategists, designers, Data analysts. The lower teams operate with far fewer people, but it's still a large payroll. Drivers aren't cheap either. A rookie might earn around $500,000 per year. A superstar like Lewis Hamilton has earned around $60 million per year. That's just salary, not endorsements. There are 24 races per season, 5 continents. The calendar runs roughly from February to November. Every single race means moving cars, spare parts, tools, hospitality equipment, and hundreds of staff members around the world. Logistics costs alone are enormous. Air freight, sea freight, trucks across Europe. It adds up fast. Then you have upgrades throughout the season, replacement parts after crashes, factory maintenance, wind tunnel operations, race simulators, power unit costs. This is not a cheap sport. In fact, for years, some teams were operating at heavy losses, spending huge amounts without making it back in revenue. Before 2021, top teams were spending in the range of $400 to $500 million per season. It became an arms race. Bigger budgets meant better cars. Better cars meant more wins. More wins meant more prize money. Eventually, the FIA stepped in. In 2021, they introduced a cost cap of $145 million. That figure later dropped to $135 million. There were exceptions. Driver salaries are excluded. The salaries of the top 3 executives are excluded. Marketing costs, capital expenditures, and power unit supply fees are excluded. So the cap doesn't cover everything, but it limits the core racing operations. The idea was simple: stop the spending war. Give smaller teams a real chance to compete. For teams like Haas, who can't match Ferrari's old $400 million budgets, this changed the equation. Haas found creative ways to stay competitive within their financial limits. They purchased certain car components from Ferrari. That reduces development costs. Then they focus their resources on aerodynamics and race operations. Williams has also used technical partnerships to support its operations. If you can't outspend, you collaborate. Now, prize money isn't enough on its own. So teams rely heavily on sponsorship. Sponsorship structures are layered. At the top is the title partner. This is the brand whose name is part of the official team name. These deals can range from $50 million to $100 million per year. They often last up to 5 years. For example, Petronas with Mercedes, Oracle with Red Bull. Oracle reportedly pays around $100 million per year as Red Bull's title sponsor. You can't miss their branding. It's on the car, on the suits, everywhere. Below the title partner are the major partners, usually 6 to 10 brands. They pay for prime placement on the car, side pods, rear wing, engine cover. These deals typically range from $8 million to $25 million per year. The size and location of the logo matter. Bigger placement costs more. Smaller decals cost less. Then there are technical partners and suppliers. These companies provide technology, materials, or expertise. Sometimes it's cash. Sometimes it's discounted services. There are also regional sponsors that focus on specific markets. And beyond pure branding, there's access. Formula One is exclusive. That exclusivity attracts high-level executives. Race weekends are packed with B2B activity. Tech firms, consulting companies, fintech brands, software companies. They're not just there for photos, they're building relationships. This is where the Paddock Club comes in. The Paddock Club is F1's premium hospitality experience. It sits above the general VIP areas and below the team ownership suites. It includes fine dining, trackside viewing, pit lane walks, and garage tours. A 3-day pass can cost between $7,000 and $10,000, depending on the Grand Prix location. Each team has its own hospitality suite inside this environment. So sponsors aren't just getting their logo on a car, they're getting access to private areas where deals are discussed, where partnerships start, where business actually happens. Now let's take a step back for a second. Liberty Media acquired Formula One in 2017 for $4.4 billion. By 2023, the brand was valued at around $17 billion. That's nearly a 300% increase in value. Under Liberty, the sport expanded. More races were added to the calendar. The Netflix series Drive to Survive launched and brought in a wave of new fans. Viewership grew, both live and online. That growth helped the teams. Before the cost cap era, many teams were bleeding money. Now, with controlled spending and rising revenues, team valuations have climbed sharply. Several teams are now valued at over $2 billion. Ferrari's team valuation has been estimated at around $4.78 billion. Mercedes at $3.94 billion. The economics of Formula One shifted. It's still expensive, still high risk, still brutally competitive. But it's no longer just about burning cash for glory. It's a structured business. Revenue sharing, cost controls, long-term sponsorship contracts, franchise-like team valuations. And that's how these teams survive. They take a share of F1's global revenue. They secure major sponsorship deals. They control costs under the cap. They build partnerships. And if they perform well, they climb the payout ladder. It looks like pure racing on the surface. Underneath, it's a $4 billion ecosystem trying to balance speed with sustainability. If you enjoyed this, like and subscribe for more.